Okay, today the first thing that we're talking about is how sensitive most of you get if I criticize any part of your country's performance in the World Cup. Like I'm supposed to gush about your team at all times. And as John Smith said in the comments, FFS, Jimmy, stop being such a German hater. Like for real, Conrad is your name in German. And first off, my family's from Denmark, and my great-great-grandfather's name was Conrad Hansen, but because Hansen was such a popular last name, like Smith in the States, John Smith, my family decided to take Conrad as our last name, so I should really be Jimmy Hansen. Yeah, how's that for a fun fact for you? It's pretty good. Second, you can't watch this German team and think that they're anywhere near as good as they were in the last World Cup, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I think they're missing a Philipp Lahm and a Bastian Schweinsteiger in front of the back four. So my expectations are high, and yours should be too, because they have the talent to be incredible. And they're just not playing to where I think they should. Anyway, run it. It's the very curious news from around the Russia with the amazing Hansen. Very curious news item number 1. Harry Kane is stealing goals again. Now, fair play to the man for being in the right place at the right time. I cannot knock him for that, or for being considered the best penalty taker in England. But he didn't create either of the 2 penalties he scored today, nor did he know anything about his third goal, which inadvertently hit his heel and went in after the initial shot by Ruben Loftus-Cheek, which means he didn't score any goals on his own in the run of play against a bad Panama team. But in an effort to gush more about the people that I'm talking about, the teams that I'm talking about, to quiet the haters, this is what I have to say about Harry Kane. He's the best striker in the world, and he's on top of the Golden Boot race, and he's going to lead Spurs to the Premier League trophy! No, but seriously, Panama were bad. Shockingly bad, which for me makes it even more embarrassing that the US didn't qualify if this is how the team that finished above us is going to represent our region. But I'm now going to put that aside and start to gush about this team and their reaction after they scored the first World Cup goal in their country's history, because the players were so proud, and so were the supporters, and I really believe that moment, that a Panamanian can score a goal in a World Cup, will do more for the development of the game in Panama than how they performed overall, because they have given their next generation of players the belief that it's possible, and that is awesome. But back to England, and just like I did yesterday with Belgium, it has to be said that they have beaten 2 teams in these first 2 games that they should probably beat 10 out of 10 times. So it's hard to know just how good the 3 Lions are actually playing. So I eagerly anticipate their matchup against Belgium, where they have to truly worry about defending and being on the back foot for a good portion of the game against a very good team, because let's be honest, up until this point, they've been on the front foot the whole entire time, which, to gush, is a testament to their mentality to start this tournament, because, say it with me, it's coming home, lads. The World Cup is going back to where it belongs. I don't know if you say it like that. That's just a really bad rendition of how I think you'd say it. But at some point, a team is going to metaphorically punch them in the face, and I want to see how England and Belgium too respond to that, because it's been a little too easy so far. And yes, I know England barely escaped with a 2-1 win over Tunisia, but they were all over them for most of that game. They probably should have scored 3 or 4 goals. Very curious news item number 2. Group H is the best group, and it started with Japan versus Senegal, which not only was the most respectful game between 2 teams in the whole tournament, but also the most entertaining, because it was end-to-end with some great goals and great chances, and which saw 19-year-old Musa Waggy score the go-ahead goal to become the youngest player from Africa to ever hit the back of the net in a World Cup. And that was before Japanese legend Keisuke Honda came on as a super sub to score the game-tying goal, which means he becomes the first player in Japanese history to score in 3 World Cups. So a hat tip to both of these players for these records. It's very cool. But more than that, this 2-2 result means that neither team let the other one qualify for the knockout rounds, because they now sit on top together with 4 points, which means Colombia and Poland still have a chance. Or Poland did have a chance until they ran into the Colombia that we know and love. Colombia, 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 Colombia. James was dropping dimes, Jerry Mina was scoring banging headers and playing awesome defense. Juan Cuadrado, also known as John Square, was all over the place and scoring on breakaways. And my favorite part of the whole game, and this was just like Marco Reus yesterday, Falcao scored his first ever World Cup goal, which makes me extremely happy for him and Marco, because they fought back from serious injuries to realize a dream. But also, again, how good was Colombia today? I'll tell you, they were so good that it makes me feel bad for Poland, who again didn't turn up for a pivotal World Cup game, which is a shame since they were so solid in qualifying and have so many talented players in their team. And now it's over, it's done, it's finished. so now they can continue to do what they've done in their last 2 World Cup appearances, which is lose their first 2 games and then win their last one when there's no pressure on them, which sucks though for Japan because Japan needs at least a draw to go through and they got Poland next. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Colombia has it easy because they have a tough matchup against Senegal. However, a draw could be enough for the Colombians if Poland do beat Japan because the Colombians have a superior goal difference. Not that they're going to want to let it get to that point because we know they're going to be playing for the win, as most teams tend to do unless they're Panama. Either way, it's setting up to be an awesome final for the group of death. Very curious news item number 3. Happy birthday, Leo Messi. The GOAT turned 31 today, but sadly, it's under a cloud of unrest as reports are coming out of Argentina's camp about a player revolt and how the players want the manager Jorge Sampaoli gone and how they're going to pick the team that will start against Nigeria whether Sampaoli is on the bench or not. They don't even really care, which is, this is crazy! If true. However, I don't necessarily believe that it is because it's normal for players to be extremely frustrated when things aren't going exactly the way they planned for and expected. So maybe some stuff leaked out from that place of anger from 1 or 2 of the players. But I do think there are issues, and issues that were already present that are now bubbling up to the surface since the team isn't doing well. I will add though that Sampaoli did himself no favors by throwing everyone but Leo Messi under the bus after the Croatia game by saying that Leo is limited in what he can do because the team doesn't gel with him as it should. Now, if I'm a player not named Leo Messi and I hear this, I am pissed because that's absolving Messi from any responsibility when that's not necessarily fair. If he makes his penalty against Iceland, everything is different. So whether the player unrest is true or not, the Argentina situation and Messi's role within it is a complicated one. And if they can't find their way out of this adversity, I fear this could be the last time that we ever see Messi in an Argentina shirt, but maybe that's for the best for everyone involved, so everyone can move on. Anyway, that is it. That is all I got, which means it's now time to hear from you. And my first question is, have we seen the real England yet? My second one is, which 2 teams from Colombia, Japan, and Senegal are going to get through Group H? And my final one is, can Argentina overcome their own drama? That's what I want to know. So hit me up in the comments. Please hit like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Later.